Hi, welcome to my home. Please come take a look. This is the entrance, and notice that the front door is to the side of the house, not in the middle of the house, which is a typical Frank Lloyd Wright design, because he wanted the house to be an architectural experience and he wanted it to be different than all other homes. And also please notice when we go through the house the different heights of the ceiling. He wanted you to feel a feeling of enclosure and then expansion as you walk through the house, so you have an architectural experience. Before Frank Lloyd Wright, homes were always set up the same way basically. 4 walls, a door for each room, the window, 1 or 2 windows. Notice all the windows that he used to bring the light in all the time. And he's also the first to put the fireplace in the center of the house, and he used a horizontal brick because he wanted you to look at the horizontal lines in the house. It was a very Japanese feeling to his prairie style home. He was very influenced by that, I believe. So we'll come in here and take a look at the bookshelves in the living room. These were built-ins. Frank was the first to do built-ins. He was also the first to do recessed lighting and indirect lighting, which you'll see here. All these sconces are original to the house, but back then in 1908, the highest wattage you could get for a light bulb was 8 watts. Mr. Boynton, the owner of the house, he was a salesman for lanterns, and we found that lantern over there, downstairs in the basement. I cleaned it up and gave it a place of honor. There have been 9 families that have lived in this house, and it was still there.
So this is an original Boynton.
That was the lanterns that his company made. That's how he made his money.
Wow.
And back in 1908, the land and the house cost $50,000, which was a fortune back then. Of course, the land was much bigger. It went almost all the way to Park Avenue. There was a tennis court. There was a wading pool. There were beautiful gardens. 1920s, that land was sold off, and what we did when we didn't redo the house, but we were able to build a new garage in the back, and we put in a little pond as well to give the feeling of what Frank really had done originally with the house. So watch your step. What's really nice about this is that we can sit out here, we could see people walking by, but they really can't see us. We have our privacy. Maybe they see the top of our heads when we're sitting down.
Wow.
Isn't it beautiful? It was enclosed in the 1920s, the late 20s, because the second family that lived here felt, oh, they can't use it in Rochester with all the coal. So they did a beautiful job, but it wasn't original. And when we bought the house, we wanted to bring it back to its original beauty.
So how's this supported?
This is, the cantilevered roof is supported by 2 huge metal beams that go back 60 feet holding it up.
And I know this has been an ongoing theme, but like you look at this and like you just don't see anything else like this.
Right.
I mean, this still feels fresh and forward thinking, and the fact that it was built more than 100 years ago is incredible.
Sometimes we'll have a delivery and the gentleman will say, oh, was this a new house? It's so modern. And I'll go, would you believe it was the second house built on this street? And it was built in 1908. Because people, if they don't know about Frank Lloyd Wright and they see it, they think it's a new house still. And that was 111 years ago. But those weren't originally there. When they enclosed the porch, they put those lights in. But they're so beautiful. I didn't want to take them down.
No, they look great.
Yeah, but they were not there. Originally, this was just all solid.
And it totally fit. I mean, it fits. It's not like it doesn't feel like these were added on at all.
Right, and it's kind of nice if you come out here in the evening to put them on.
Yeah, because it's not a harsh light.
No, it's
the,
very
the glass.
soft.
It's like.
Right. So the people who did that, they used the same company that Frank had used.
I was going to say
yes.
they look like his windows.
Yes. In fact, all the windows that they had used to enclose this, they used the same company, and it was done beautifully, but it wasn't original, and it was really important to me to bring it back to its original. And like I had mentioned, when I give a tour, I do tell people that it was really important to get it back to its original, because to me, when they enclosed it, it would be like putting a frown on Mona Lisa's face in the painting. It's not what was meant to be. And the dining room is the most famous room in the house. There's a book written about Frank Lloyd Wright's most favorite rooms, and this room is in that book. There are over 3,000 pieces of art glass in this room alone, and everything you see other than the accessories he designed.
I mean, you don't think of an architect as always as someone who takes so much time and detail to like design windows. It's incredible.
This is what I wanted to mention to you.
Of course.
If you take a look here, stand right here where I'm standing, you'll see the two windows to the left, narrow ones to the left, look outside, the two to the right look into the house. Then if you step over here, you'll see the same thing on those windows.
Over here?
Right here, take a look.
Wow.
And that's something I didn't realize until I had lived here for a little while.
Right.
How ingenious that was. Okay, the reason there are two tables in the dining room is that Mr. Boynton, when he built the house, he was a widower, and he and his daughter lived here. They had help, so this was their breakfast room, and this is where they ate all their meals, so it was just the two of them. When they had company, they used the larger table, which even opens up bigger. There are leaves for it as well. And Frank believed not to put flowers in the center of the table. He believed flowers should go in the corners so that it doesn't take away from communication. So in here, there are little metal boxes where you can put the flowers and water, and then these light up. Originally, they were electrified, but now we have them on LED lights so that we preserve the wood.
Oh, yeah. So, and who designed these tables?
Frank did. Everything in this room, Frank designed.
Incredible. Even these cabinets as well?
Everything. Everything you see other than the candles and the sculptures and what's inside of them. Every detail he designed in this room. And the carpet he did not. The carpet was new, but it's in the same style as would have been back then. Beautiful. In the arts and crafts style.
Beautiful. So when you say arts and crafts style, can you elaborate on that just a little bit for us?
Well, that was our style. I think it was started in the very late 1800s, early 1900s, and they used the woods this way. It was very contemporary for that time. Sure, this is the pantry.
It's just the most ludicrously gorgeous pantry I've ever seen.
Everything in here is original except for the light there. And this is interesting too. Back in 1908, first of all, the help would come in from the kitchen into the pantry and then into the dining room. From this point on, Frank did oak because he knew to match the rest of the house, the public rooms. And the reason he did oak was because he knew when the help opened up this door to serve that the guests could see this room, and he didn't want them to see the cheap pine that was in the kitchen. Because back then, when you had help, you didn't spend money in the kitchen. You know, it was the least beautiful room. Today, it's just the opposite. So we had permission to redo the kitchen, and we redid it as if Frank were alive today, and we matched it to the other rooms, including the wood and all, and you'll see that in a minute. But this here is original too, and this was a plate warmer. It was a gas plate warmer. And when it wasn't working, of course, and when we moved in, we brought the gas company here to check it out and said, can we get it to work again? And they said, you do not want that to work. He said it's a miracle the house didn't burn down. So now we use it for a different warmer.
Exactly. A company warmer, as it were.
So,
The sink, Jane.
isn't it all original?
Gorgeous.
Isn't that amazing?
Original sink.
Yeah, original. Everything in here is original.
I know. We like keep
Except for
asking
the
it.
plants.
It's just we keep asking it, but it's still somehow
Over 100 years
so mind blowing.
Done. The cabinets are new, but they're in the same style that was here. What we did is we added the upper cabinets. There were no upper cabinets. We used some of the windows that were out on the porch for lighting in here. And we did the same indirect lighting that Frank did in the living room. We did that here. However, there is something very original in this room from back then, and that's the refrigerator. That's an original ice box. It was even before it was electrified. It was an ice box. The iceman would come and put the ice in the back.
Wow.
And it was made in Buffalo.
So
Oh my goodness! And it's how does this work today?
It does work. It's nice and cold. However, I just keep drinks in there.
Right.
Our real refrigerator, we recessed here.
Wow! Look at that. That is
And
clever.
we didn't want all the contemporary modern things showing, so we also recessed the dishwasher too.
Oh, how clever! You would have no idea.
Yeah, that it was there.
It's amazing.
So originally, this over here was actually 2 bedrooms and a bathroom for the housekeeper and the cook, and we were able to redesign it. So we added a bathroom over here, and we added a breakfast room in here. We raised the ceiling because there was nothing above it, and we did the same type of ceiling that's upstairs in the bedrooms. Because as I said, this was done all in pine inexpensively, and we redid it as if Frank were alive today and what he would have done today. And this is our breakfast room. This is where we eat our meals because we want to preserve all the Frank Lloyd Wright furniture.
Gotcha.
This was Mr. Boynton's office. This is the only room in the house that was done in mahogany. And the furniture is new, but it's in the same style that would have been here originally. And another thing I just want to show you, the pocket door. This is original pocket door. He did this side of the pocket door in mahogany, but the other side he did in the oak to match this side of the house. So every detail he was involved, and he made sure it was exactly the way he wanted it to be.
And this almost goes with the theme, like with the windows, where like half of the window is looking to one part and the other half is looking to something.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so cool that you can like see the difference in the grain. So this one's of the house.
This is of the house from Hawthorne, looking toward East Boulevard. You can see the old-fashioned car there. And about 2 years after Beulah, who's the name of the daughter, Mr. Boynton's daughter Beulah, lived in the house, she got married to a gentleman, and they lived here in the house only for 10 years. But she had this little girl when she was living in the house. That was her daughter. And there's a picture of the daughter in the garden area.
Look at that. Amazing.
Here's a picture of the pond that they had on the other side of the house. Now that land belongs to somebody else. There's a picture of Beulah's bedroom. And here's a picture of the house when it was enclosed for the 76 years. That's the porch being enclosed.
Yeah, it does not look nearly as well, frankly, nearly as good.
Right.
It doesn't act.
So you
This
can
doesn't look the
imagine
same.
why he was very upset when he saw it in the 1930s, came back to Rochester.
Okay.
So this is our archival room, and our architect, John Page, set this up for us. There are pictures of the house the way it used to be, some the way it is today. This over here is a picture of Mr. Boynton,
Wow.
the original owner of the house. And this is his son-in-law and his grandchild. And here's Beulah, his daughter. And you can see them right by the front door in front of the house in the old-fashioned clothes. And we have all the original drawings. There were like 79 original drawings. We have copies of every one that we got from Taliesin West. But we had some of them enlarged. Our architect did this for us, of the original drawings that he did. There are copies of them, and we have them hung. And all around you'll see different pictures.
Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous.
And then this is really, I think this is one of my, couple of things I'll show you. This is one of my favorite things. Our architect did this for us. This is a timeline right here. It tells you who owned the house, what years they owned it, what was done to the house, and who the president was in the United States at the time. So I think if you took a picture of that, it would be
Absolutely.
interesting.
Jane, this is so cool. This is like an amazing way to preserve the history.
Those are the beams.
That was in this house?
Practically
How was it
everyone
like
had-
staying
I don't
up?
know. It was like angels were holding it up.
Yes. Was it like termite damage?
Termite and carpenter ants. That
Oh
that
my
was
God.
that was typical of what the beams looked like. They were all 9 months of just changing. Yeah, those.
Good Lord.
This is a good picture of it with the, after we took it away and there's
Right.
the, you know, those
Yeah,
two.
that's a big difference.
You're right, it definitely.
No, and it's, I mean, I know like there's like some landscaping difference too, but
Yes.
it's,
This is how Frank would have done it. He wanted the house, you to look at the house like it came out of the earth. So this was more minimal, the landscaping. There's something over here I think you'd be interested in too. This is a picture of Frank Lloyd Wright when he was in his early 40s, and that's how old he was when he designed this house. Over there is a picture of Frank Lloyd Wright right before he passed away at the Guggenheim Museum in New York City that he designed. And over here is our list of all the people who worked on the house.
I recognize those two names at the top.
Do you? You see what it says?
Boynton House, Fran, and
Oh,
Jane.
and then to the right of it.
The boss, the
And
real
then-
boss.
nice.
No, it seems about right, yeah. That's cute.
I think the only two people who forgot to sign it, or the two most important people, were the architect. John Wright, our landscape architect, and our regular architect, and that's John Merrill and Mark Baer.
So do they hang out here in the winter time?
Yeah, you see the stairs and you see the slats, like the little slats.
It's so
That they might,
connected.
Bye now, thanks for coming.